Hey YouTube, this is Dan Mandak coming at you with another video. This is gonna be my collection update video for 2018. Wow, I almost said 2017. So this is a little shaky cam, so I'm gonna go over this all in here. So hopefully the lighting's good enough. I don't think it is. So let me see if I can point it towards this. It might be better. Yeah, it's a little bit better. We'll see how this goes. It's a little, not really that great, but so this is my whole collection. Let me just back up a little bit. I'll show it a little here. So, you got the bigger books on the top, smaller books on the bottom. So I'll go over all this in detail. So let's get started. So I'm gonna start off with my omnibus. So let me move this chair out of the way. Should have done this beforehand, but whatever. So starting with my omnibus, we have Amazing Spider-Man Volume 2. I picked this up for cheap at a store. It was, or not a store. I picked this up on a website, like a Facebook page that was selling it for 45 bucks. So I jumped on that, grabbed it. Next omnibus is Avengers by Jonathan Hickman, Volume 1. This came out, I think, last summer, and Second and Charles was running some crazy sales where they were getting omnibus. So one of the omnibus was this book, so picked it up for really cheap. So that's really great. I got it for 45 bucks as well. You can barely see that. I apologize for this quality of image, but let me see. Actually, I'm gonna go see if I can get this light to work here. Actually, you know what? We'll just go. You'll just come along for this journey. So let me just see if I can get this light to work. So, boom, we're gonna go underneath here into darkness. This is so bad. I should know this beforehand, but whatever. So we're gonna turn this light on. Boom, more light in my hand. That's a little bit better. Okay, so right here is Daredevil by Frank Miller and Klaus Jensen. Read that over Christmas break. Loved it. Probably one of my favorite Daredevil runs. I mean, that's kind of goes without saying. Second omnibus of Daredevil by Brubaker and Lark. Michael Lark, I think. Picked that up online for really cheap. I think I got it for like 19 bucks or something. The reason why is because it's really thin. It's basically the same contents as the third complete collection, so it's a little weird, but whatever. Iron Man by Bob Layton and David Michelini. This is my very first omnibus. Oh yeah, it's much better. Yeah, picked this up online on Amazon for about 50 bucks. Really cool. Really good stuff. That's the first omnibus I bought and read. So, Iron Man by Kurt Busiek and Sean Chen. I read this back in February, and I love this as well. Great reimagining of Tony Stark. A lot of new characters. Great art by Sean Chen. Star Wars, the original Marvel years, Volume 2 Omnibus. I found this online for about 25 bucks, so that's why I jumped on it. I'm gonna wait and see if I can get the other two for cheap too. We'll see. Um, no one's really buying them, so that's probably why they're going down in price. But yeah. And next one, which is definitely the biggest, I think, omnibus of this whole group, is Thor by Walt Simonson and Sal Buscema. I got this from In Stock Trades. We can see here just a tiny bit. The trade dress is a little off, but that's whatever. I still have it in its bag. I'm not going to take it out until I read it. But yeah, really excited to get to that eventually when I get around to it. Next book I have is Uncanny Avengers. I picked this up at a store for 35 bucks, which, is about what it goes for online too. It's a smaller book, so, it's whatever. I think this is the variant cover of it. Could be wrong. So that's kind of cool, but I'm excited to read that team. It's a mix of X-Men and Avengers characters, so that's cool. Next one, I get into my Uncanny X-Men stuff, so volumes 1, 2, and 3. I read those over the course of about 2, 3 months actually, and I just love that stuff. It was so great to read. It was an experience I enjoy, and I'm very much looking forward to when Marvel eventually releases Volume 4 and the Mutant Massacre Omnibus is coming out soon too. So that will fill gaps so I can continue on from this one, because this ends with the marriage of Scott and Madeline Pryor. So cool. Next one I have here is X-Men Classic, which just came out back in December. It has some supplemental material that kind of fills in characterization seen in the first, I think, two omnibus. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. It's kind of like behind the scenes stuff and just extra moments between characters that I think are going to be really cool to read about. So we'll see. So that's all my omnibus. I think I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 omnibus. So planning to buy more this year. Marvel's releasing a lot of reprints this year and stuff, so I'm really excited to get my hands on some more omnibus in the future. But it's a good start, I think. So the next group of books we have here is the oversized hardcovers. So alphabetically, of course, we have Amazing Spider-Man Worldwide, which I picked up at a store for $10, so that's why I have it. We'll give it a shot. It's volume one, so I figured if I like it, I'll buy the second one. If I don't like it, I'll just sell it. Deadpool World's Greatest, same thing. Found it at a Books a Million for $10, so I picked it up. Don't like it, I'll sell it. Well, let's give it a shot. I have never read a Deadpool comic, so I don't know if this is the best place to start, but we'll give it a shot. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume One by Brian Michael Bendis, oversized hardcover. A lot of people say this is garbage, but I have a lot of Guardian stuff, so I figured I'd give this a try and see what's going on. I mean, I might like it. We'll see. I've heard some people say they like it. Um, Next thing we have is volumes 1 and 2 hardcovers for what do you call 'em? Matt Fraction's Hawkeye, which I read last summer. I really enjoyed. They're fast reads. I would definitely say that. You can get through these in about a few days, and if you sit down and read them every night or whatever. So excited to have those. Next group, and I haven't even touched these yet. I don't know when I'm gonna get around to reading them, but I have volumes 1, 2, and 3 of Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, obviously. I think there's a fourth one either out or it was solicited or whatever. So I'm excited to read this. We'll see how this goes. I haven't read any Miss Marvel stuff, so I'm excited to see what it's about. Spider-Man, the graphic novels. I read that over my summer break last year, or summer vacation last year. That was really good. A lot of standalone stories, but they were really nice to read about. We got Spider-Gwen Volume 1. I still got to pick up Volume 2, and Volume 3 comes out in October, I think, which I think features the Gwen mark. So we'll see about that. Thor, by Jason Aaron. Picked this up out of Books a Million for $10. It has, Jane Foster as Thor, so that's cool. Excited to read about that. Hopefully collect more of the hardcovers when I find them. We have Invincible Iron Man Volumes 1 and 2, which I found online as well. Someone was selling them for $40, I think, combined, which is a pretty good steal, so I bought those. Marvel 1602, I actually read 1602, really fell in love with it. It was a pretty cool book to read about. The twist at the end is pretty cool. So I actually sold the paperback to somebody, and I found this hardcover for $10, so I picked it up. So I might revisit it and reread it. We'll see. Mighty Avengers, Dark Reign. So this is Dan Slott's run on Mighty Avengers after Brian Michael Bendis leaves. So I got this hardcover for $5 at a store, which is pretty nice. So yeah. The next books here, we have some Star Wars books. We have Star Wars Darth Vader Volumes 1 and 2. So I actually I think I started reading Darth Vader online for the first 5 or 6 issues, and then I stopped reading it. So I'm definitely going to go back and try to read this whole run in one sitting, because this is it for that whole series. And then they rebooted it with Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith, I think that's what it's called, whatever. Star Wars Heroes for a New Hope. So this has some really cool stuff. It has the whole Princess Leia miniseries, the whole the first 6 issues of Lando and Chewbacca series, which I don't know if it went on further than that, but that's cool to have. I read the Leia series, so I don't need to reread that again, but it was really good. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so excited to find out about that. Next book we have here is Vision by Tom King, which I've heard is really, really good. I know Tom King's currently on Batman right now, so excited to read about that when I get to it. I'm a big Vision fan as well, so we'll see how that goes. Next thing I have here is Batman Dark Knight Returns, or Dark Knight Saga Deluxe Edition by Miller and Jansen again. So I'm excited to read that. I plan to read that hopefully soon. I found the hardcover for like 20 bucks, so that's why I bought it. But I might downgrade or upgrade. We'll see. And then we get into some of those thinner, oversized hardcovers. So we get Amazing Spider-Man OGN Family Business, which I read over the summer. Pretty cool. Pretty cool twist at the end. Pretty good art. I like it too as well. Avengers: The Origin. I actually read this, and my friend gave me the hardcover in exchange for the paperback, so that's why I have that. Avengers: Rage of Ultron. Also read that. Really enjoyed it. Captain America White. Pretty cool story. Fast read. I read that in one sitting as well. That's pretty cool. Um, Marvel's Project. Another great Brubaker book. Read that pretty fast as well. These are all, that's kind of in the vein of like, early Marvel stuff. So Namor, Captain America, Bucky, that kind of stuff. Shield, I have this for my Shield collection that I'm trying to build. And this collects the first 6 issues of that short series. I think there's like 11 issues total. And I don't know if there's any other collections for it besides this. So yeah, so this is by Hickman, so it's just some more Jonathan Hickman stuff I'm trying to get. Spider-Man, which introduced Miles Morales to the Peter Parker in the 616 universe. Star Wars Shattered Empire basically just goes over, what happens after episode 6, and introduces Poe Dameron's mom and dad, so that's kind of cool. Next thing we have is Dark Knight by Norm Brayfogle, Volume 1. I think Volume 2 came out, so I'll have to get that too. My friends recommended it to me. I've never read Batman. I've never read Batman like this before, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I'm excited to read it. We'll see. So I guess that kind of covers all the oversized hardcovers. That's the first regular size hardcover. So we get into some skinnier ones here. You have Captain America: Man Out of Time, great series. Marvel's Eye of the Camera, which is a follow-up to Marvel's. And then we get into my Secret Avengers collection here, which I just discussed in a video about 2 weeks ago. So I get, you have Brubaker's run, then you have The Fear Itself by Spencer, and then you have Ellis, and then you have Remender. So I just got to get the rest of Remender's run, and I should have a good chunk of it. Thor by JMS, volumes 1, 2, and 3. I don't have the omnibus because I'm a plebe, but yeah, it was a really fun book to read, and I have the follow-up series by Gillen, so I'll have to get around to reading that soon. But really cool story. Thor comes back to Earth and builds Asgard in Oklahoma, and then has some run-ins with Loki and all that stuff. So really cool run. Thor, Iron Man God Complex. I bought this because it had Iron Man stuff, so got it for $3 at a store. It's just throwdown between this person who's building the god or whatever. It's pretty out there and not really entertaining. Ultimate Comics Iron Man Armor Wars. Picked this up for $3 as well. Just some more Ultimate Iron Man stuff that I don't have. Pretty cool story, but a little weird ending, I thought. War Machine Ironheart. I think this is actually volume 2 of War Machine. This is the first hardcover of that series, and I have the paperback of the second volume, which I know kind of drives people nuts because it's not the same, format, but it's whatever. So that's that shelf. So we'll go down here, where I'll get away from that heat of my lamp, and we'll get down here. So let's see if this lighting will work. It's probably not that good. So over here we have a lot of Iron Man stuff. We have Iron Man Legacy of Doom, which I actually just read, really enjoyed. And then we have all of Matt Fraction's Iron Man run after the first 2 hardcovers that were up there. I have, volumes 7, 8. Oh, sorry, I skipped this one. Iron Man Industrial Revolution has some Iron Man Legacy stuff. It wasn't that great. 7, 8, and then the Fear Itself book, and then 9, 10, 11, and then that's the end of Fraction's run. So pretty good uniform collection here of hardcovers, so excited to have that. And then we get into Iron Man volume, I want to say this is volume 5. I think it's volume 5. This is Gillen's run on Iron Man, which I've heard some people say it's good, some people say it's bad, so we'll see. And then we have Superior Iron Man, which I know some people hated. Volume 1 was pretty bad. Volume 2 actually made up for it, I think, a little bit, and then it got canceled. So yeah, and then we have Bendis's run on Iron Man, which includes Invincible Iron Man's volumes 1, 2, and 3, and then you have International Iron Man. So yeah. So going over here now, we have the Marvel Premiere Classic books, which look really nice on the shelf. You can see here I have West Coast Avengers stuff. So West Coast Avengers Assemble, that's the initial miniseries. And then you have West Coast Avengers Family Ties, Into the Past, Lost in Space Time, Zodiac Attack. And then I have all the rest of it, that series collected in paperbacks, which I'll show later on. So yeah, so that I got all these for pretty cheap online. And now Marvel just announced they're making epic collections for the West Coast Avengers, so that's gonna drive me nuts now. So next thing over here we have some Hercules Marvel Premiere Classics. Hercules Full Circle, which I'm actually reading right now, just has some of his stuff, which actually I think, now that I think of it, this should actually go before that. Because when I initially saw the contents of this book, I thought it was like all his like first appearances and stuff or whatever. But that's actually a follow-up to this story, which has the first 2 volumes of Hercules. Like they're both 2 miniseries by Bob Layton. So I read that, enjoyed it, and I'm reading this. I'm enjoying that as well. Pretty cool thing. And then I'll show later on the book that follows up with that book. So the next stuff we have here, just some Spider-Man stuff. Spider-Man: Return of the Burglar. I already read this in an essential book, but it's cool to have now in a Marvel Premiere Classic. So it has 10 issues, and including the issue number 200 where he meets the burglar that killed Uncle Ben. The Thing, Liberty Legion. Some early Thing stuff with Liberty Legion. So the writing's kind of really wordy. So, but it was fun. Warriors 3 Unleashed is just a hodgepodge of different things, including the Warriors 3 thrown in there. Fallen Angels is an X-Men miniseries that I found for really cheap. These 2 I got from my friend, which I might have to upgrade because the new Defenders Epic Collection that's coming out has these 2 miniseries in it. But you have Beauty and the Beast, which is Dazzler and Beast before Dazzler got our own ongoing, and you have Iceman miniseries. So that's all my Marvel Premiere Classics. So they look really nice on the shelf. I like them. And then we get into my masterworks, which honestly I'm going to say right now, none of these I really care too much about except for the Iron Man one. But I got these for $5 each at a comic convention. So we'll see what I can do. I mean, I might read them and then I'll flip them. We'll see. So you have USA Comics Volumes 2, Captain America Golden Age Volume 5, and then you have Incredible Hulk Volume 6, and then Iron Man Volume 7. And just for I guess Iron Man stuff, I mean, this has some pretty early stuff. This is after the collection that contains the beginning of the end storyline, I think, because it has like, let's see, doesn't say. No, well, but yeah, it's pretty chill. I never read a Marvel Premiere. I never read a Masterwork before, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah. So let's hope this glare doesn't screw with my freaking images. Let's see if I can show this real quick. This video is probably terrible in terms of quality, but who cares? So these are all my epic collections. So they'll go all the way down this shelf. So I'll go through all of them. You got Ant-Man, Giant Man. You got Amazing Spider-Man, Ghost of the Past, Amazing Spider-Man Return of the Sinister Six, and then you got all my Avengers stuff here. You got Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Once the Avenger, The Masters of Evil, Behold the Vision, The Final Threat, Under Siege, and Judgment Day. And then I ordered Obsession Collection, which should be in the mail hopefully soon, and also I ordered Avengers Defenders War Epic Collection. And that is all of Marvel's Epic Collections for Avengers, aside from the Operation Galactic Storm one, which I actually own in 2 paperbacks, so I didn't see the need to buy that Epic Collection. So yeah, a lot of Avengers stuff. Next thing we have here is Black Panther, Panther's Rage, which collects Don McGregor's run on Black Panther in Jungle Action. Read that, really enjoyed it. And then we have a Captain America collection here, which, to be honest, before 2018, I don't think I owned one single Epic collection of Captain America, and now I have 5. And probably will be ordering 2 or 3 more within the next few months, because I'm trying to fill in the gaps here with Mark Grunwald's run on Captain America, because I heard it's one of the best ones. This is the first Epic collection, which I want to read because, I'm a sucker for 60s stuff and 40s stuff, Pill Suspense stuff. And this is, Dawn's early light, some early Captain America stuff as well. So, yeah. So that's really cool. We'll see how that goes. Next thing we have here is Daredevil, the Man Without Fear Epic Collection, which is his first Epic collection. So it collects Daredevils, I think like 1 through something. I forget what it is, but yeah. Then we have the Six Fingered Hand Defenders Epic Collection. So I picked that up for really cheap. That's why I have it. Doctor Strange, I have a Separate Reality and Afterlife Epic Collection. I plan on buying the Master of the Mystic Art Epic Collection when it comes out in October or November, I think. Excalibur is a series that I really loved. I have the first Epic Collection here, The Sworn is Drawn. I got to get the second one, which is the Cross Time Caper. Still need to pick that up. Fantastic Four, I actually got this from a friend for $3. It was like a sale on IST that like, I guess it was a glitch because it was like 90% off. So yeah, it's the first Epic collection of Fantastic Four. So I think I'm going that route with collecting Fantastic Four instead of the omnibus. Iron Man, we get into some Iron Man stuff, and it's crazy. I have more Captain America stuff than Iron Man Epic collections. But we have The Enemy Within, which picks up right after the Bob Layton and Michelini omnibus. And then you have Duel of Iron, which picks up right after that Epic collection. Doom, which I just got done reading. I did a podcast on it. Go check it out. War Games. These two actually, like this picks up right after where this left off. So that's kind of cool. Next thing we have is New Mutants Renewal, which is the first volume. Read that. It really dug some of those characters. And it's crazy because I've never read New Mutants before, so that was really cool to read that. And then we have Curse of the Valkyries, which is some Louise Simonson stuff. So I've heard it's not great, but I bought it because it was on sale on IST. And then we get into Power Man Iron Fist. You have Heroes for Hire and then Renewal, and these two books go right next to each other. They pick up right after they left off. So some really cool stuff. I haven't read any Power Man or Iron Fist stuff, so I'm excited to read that. My first Thor Epic collection, and I plan to get more as we go along. This is War of the Pantheons. The reason why I bought this is because this picks up right after the Walt Simonson omnibus, so that's why I got that. Wolverine Volume 1, Madripoor Nights. So I got that. Really excited. I read the Wolverine miniseries, loved it, so I'm excited to read his ongoing when I get around to it. And then we have some X-Men books that kind of fill in some gaps that I have. So, actually, before I get to X-Men, you have X-Force right there, which is Under the Gun, which is the first volume. Collects, I think, like 1 to 19 or whatever. I don't know what it is. They have X-Men The Gift, which is a placeholder until the third omnibus or fourth omnibus comes out. And then you have Mutant Genesis, which collects, the tail end of, or like, the beginning of X-Men by Jim Lee and Chris Claremont. So excited to have that. And then we have a bunch of Star Wars Epic collections. You have the Empire Volume 1, the Rebellion Volume 1. I picked all those up for like $10 each, which is pretty cool. And then we have the New Republic Volumes 1 and 2. So, yeah. So that's all my Epic collections. I know I took a really long time to go through that, but... and now we have the rest of my paperbacks, which you can see is a shit ton, so we'll go down there. We have Age of Ultron. Haven't read that yet, so we'll see. We have Alias, Volumes 1 through 4. The different trade dresses bothers the fuck out of me, but, what are you going to do? Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., read that. Really enjoyed that series. even though it got canceled because no one likes Agents of Shield, except especially in a comic book form, I guess. All new, all different Avengers. I have volumes 1 and 2, so probably just gonna try to find the other trades for it. Annihilation complete collections, which came out just recently, actually. Picked that up because I've never read Annihilation. I've heard it's a really good story. The omnibus is super out of print, so I went this method instead to save money. Um, then we have Avengers Absolute Vision Volume 2. So just a thick Avengers Volume 1 paperback that I have. So I need to find Volume 1 now, because I have Volume 2, Book 2, whatever you want to call it. And then we get Avengers Galactic Storm, which I read, really enjoyed, thought that was a really good story. That's across 2 paperbacks. Then we have Avengers Vision and the Scarlet Witch, which I read, was really nice, really cool miniseries. And then the follow up to that, Visions and the Scarlet Witch, A Year in the Life. So that's the 12-issue series. Got this for $5, which is pretty nuts. And then we get into some West Coast Avengers stuff. You can't really see that, but that's Avengers West Coast. Along Came a Spider-Woman, Avengers Ultron Unbound, Avengers The Death of Mockingbird. And those are all West Coast Avengers books. Even though all the freaking titles, all the dresses look different, they're all for the same book. Avengers / Iron Man Force Works. So this is kind of what West Coast Avengers came out of. That's why I put it right next to it, because it's kind of a really edgy 90s series. And then we have Avengers / Iron Man First Sign, which collects some Iron Man issues that I haven't read yet, so I'm excited to read that. Avengers Quicksilver, got that for really cheap, so that's why I have it. Young Avengers, I got that from my friend, so really nice to have that. I have both complete collections for Jeff Johns' run on Avengers. I have both complete collections for Avengers Academy. Those just came out, and those look great on the shelf. Really cool trade dress going on there. And that's all my Avenger stuff. So, I'm trying to stealthily collect more Avenger stuff, but for right now, I think, this is fine. I like it. I still have a lot to read, so yeah. Then next we have Tales of the Batman by Tim Sale. Read that, really liked it. The art is just magnificent. Next thing we have here is Black Knight, The Fall of Dane Whitman, the miniseries. I read that. It was pretty good. Not stellar, but, not offensively bad. And then we get into my little Black Panther collection here. I have Black Panther, Panther's Quest, which is the follow-up series to the Epic collection from him. Boom, right there. So I read that. Very wordy, that's how Don McGregor is, but it was a really great story. It has to do with him, with T'Challa, going back to find his mom. And the ending's really intense, so that's really cool. And then we get into Christopher Priest's run on Black Panther. I have the first 3 volumes. I'm gonna read these 3, and then if I enjoy it, I'll get the 4th volume, because I've heard that Black Panther's not really in that book a lot. So yeah. And the last thing I guess for Black Panther here is Black Panther World of Wakanda. I found this for like $5 at a store, so that's why I bought it. So just some extra stuff that I don't have from Black Panther. Next thing is my only Black Widow book I have, Black Widow, Shield's Most Wanted. I think this came out, I think this said it came out before Secret Wars, so 2014. So I'm excited to read that. Then we get into a little Captain America collection here, and Captain Marvel. It's Captain America Marvel Knights Volume 1, which I heard is like half of it's good and half of it's trash, so we'll see. All new Captain America Volume 1, Hydra Ascendant. So this is Sam Wilson as Captain America. Then we have some Captain Marvel stuff, which, is kind of crazy. It's kind of hard to keep track of all her volumes, because she's up to like Volume 9, I think, now or something. But this is the first 3 volumes of, I think, Volume 7, Volume 6. And this is either 7 or 8 afterwards, so we'll see. Like I said, it's confusing. Next, we have Champions. Just found this for cheap, so picked it up. Then we have a bunch of Civil War books that I have here. I have Civil War Event, Civil War Proper, Civil War Amazing Spider-Man, which my friend gave to me, Civil War Captain America, and then Civil War Iron Man. So, and the Civil War Iron Man picks up, or this next the collection I have picks up right after that, so that's cool to have. I'm just gonna tuck these in so they look nice on the shelf. Next thing we have here is cloak. Ooh. Okay. Ooh, okay, I am back. Man, this video is gonna be awful for anyone who watched it because I just don't have any preparation, but who cares? So next thing we get into is Daredevil. Some of my Daredevil stuff here. You have Born Again, The Man Without Fear, Guardian Devil, all really great stuff. This is by Kevin Smith. These are both by Miller. Daredevil Ultimate Collection by Bendis, Volume 2. I still gotta find Volumes 1 and 3, so we'll see if I can find those. Daredevil Yellow, read that, it was pretty good. Star Wars Darth Maul, Son of Dathomir, just bought that, pretty cool. We'll see how that goes. Doctor Strange The Oath, great read, definitely check it out. My friend recommended this to me, so I bought it. Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom, Triumph and Torment. Really dig both characters, so I'm excited to see what that's about. Doctor Strange and the Secret Defenders. This is not a great book, but we'll see how it goes. So, then we get into some skinnier trades here. We got Drax, World's Greatest Detectives, Elektra, Always Bet on Red. Really cool series. She faces off against Arcade. Fantastic Four, 1, 2, 3, 4, which I actually talked about in a haul video about a month or so ago. Then we get into Fantastic Four by Wade and Raringo. Volumes 1, 2, and 3. I still need to find Volume 4. Haven't found it anywhere that's like less than $15, which is annoying. So, yeah. Then we get into I have Fear Itself, and then we have all new Ghost Rider Volumes 1 and 2 until the series got canceled. So I read that. It was pretty good. The art was pretty cool. I liked it. Yeah. And then next thing we have here is all my Guardians collection. So we get Guardians of the Galaxy volume, Tomorrow's Avengers volumes 1 and 2, which collect a bunch of stuff. First appearance, appearances by the Guardians teams. I think either this one or this one collects. I think it's this one that collects the Korvac saga. So that's why I don't have that book in my Avengers collection. And then you get Jim Valentino's run on Guardians, so volumes 1, 2, and 3 there. And then we have Guardians of the Galaxy in the year 3000, so volumes 1, 2, and 3 of that. So I'm excited to read this. It's going to be a long readathon, but I'm excited to read it and find out. And then we get into Abnett and Lanning's run, which features the team you see in the movies, volumes 1 and 2. Got the complete collections, so nice. Next thing we have here is Hawkeye, Avenging Archer. Has a bunch of stuff in it, a bunch of mini-series and stuff, and a bunch of stuff with Hawkeye and Mockingbird. So excited to read that. I kind of bought that as an instinct buy after I finished Fractions runs because I really was digging the character at that point. So excited to read that. It's a thick book too. So yeah. Next thing we have here is Patsy Walker, aka Hellcat, volumes 1, 2, and 3. Read that series, kind of liked it. The art's pretty cool, and Patsy's kind of a little childish, but I thought it was a pretty cool read. And then we have my Hercules stuff. So like I was saying earlier, this Hercules book follows up right after the last book that I showed up there, and then you have Hercules Still Going Strong, which came out in 2016 or something. Next thing you have is Amadeus Cho Hulk in the Totally Awesome Hulk, volumes 1 and 2. I still gotta pick up, I think, volumes 3 and 4. I think is what they're up to now. So yeah. And then we get into all my cosmic stuff here. We get Infinity Gauntlet Aftermath, Infinity War. Still need to get Infinity War Aftermath, and then both Infinity Watches. I still need to hunt down Infinity Crusade, which I haven't been able to find for a pretty cheap price, but I might just cave and buy it eventually. Next thing we get into here is Inhumans by Paul Jenkins and Jay Lee. Um, we get Immortal Iron Fist by Brubaker and Fraction. Still got to hunt down the second one. Iron Man. Then we get into all my Iron Man stuff here. We get Iron Man War Machine. Get Iron Man Hands of the Mandarin. Avengers Disassembled Iron Man, which is from Volume 3 of Iron Man. Iron Man 2020, which has a bunch of Iron Man 2020 stuff, like stories he was in. Iron Man Director of S.H.I.E.L.D., which picks up right after the Iron Man Civil War book. Then we have Iron Man Rapture, which is like a miniseries. It was alright, it wasn't great. Iron Man The Inevitable, same thing, not really that great. Iron Man 2.0, the first volume was boring as fuck. The second volume was actually really cool. I actually read that really fast. Iron Patriot was, volume 1 was Rhodey in the suit, and it was a miniseries, and it wasn't that great, but I thought it was decent. Kingdom Come, DC event that I haven't read yet. You have Kingpin, Loki, Agent of Asgard, Luke Cage, Second Chances, Volume 2, so I gotta get Volume 1. Marvels, gotta have Marvels. It's a really old trade though, so it's kind of cool. Has Ant-Man on the cover. Alex Ross art, can't beat that. I actually skipped a book. Manhunter, got this at an Ollie's for $2. So it's Walt Simonson DC stuff, so we'll see how it goes. Marvel 1985, really cool story. Yeah, I really like that. Marvel Romance and Marvel Romance Redux. So, for anyone who isn't familiar, before superheroes were a thing, Marvel and DC as well did a bunch of romance books. So these collections collect that stuff. So the first collection actually has the original stories from the 1950s, and this has like the same stories but with redubbed cap titles. So like different stories are told with it, and they're kind of like parodies of it. So I thought that was funny. Marvel Zoom Zoom Takeover, read this recently. Wasn't really great, but Zoom Zoom, so why not? Here we go. We get into Mighty Avengers and New Avengers stuff with Namor in the middle there, interrupting it because alphabetical. So you have Mighty Avengers volumes 1 through 4 of Bendis. Then you have Namor, Visionaries volume 1. So I gotta hunt down volume 2. I think it has 3 volumes, but I could be wrong. Then we have my whole New Avengers run, which I'm almost done collecting. I just need to get, I think volume 12 is actually in the mail right now to me. So once I get that, I will have all the paperbacks for New Avengers, so I can sit down and read that whole series in one sitting, which will be nice. So yeah, a lot of Bendis stuff, and we still have more Bendis stuff to talk about as we get down here. So here we have New Avengers Illuminati. Then we have New Warriors volumes 1 through 3. Nick Fury versus S.H.I.E.L.D. Read that. Took me like a week and a half to get through because it was so wordy. Nova Classic volume 2. Found that for really cheap at a store, so I need to find volumes 1 and 3. Phantom, the Ghost Who Walks. That was actually a trade that my grandfather had, and he let me keep it, so that's cool. The Pulse volume 1. Still contemplating whether or not I should just get the complete collection because it's probably a better deal, but if I find the other 2 volumes for cheap, I'll just pick those up. Punisher War Journal Classic by Potts and Lee. So excited to read that. I don't really have a lot of Punisher stuff. I don't know if you can even see that. Yeah. Then we have The Punisher Border Crossing by Edmondson. I need to get the Garth Ennis stuff because I heard it's really good. Next thing we have here is Quasar Classic, Volume 1. Volume 2 is finally coming out this summer, which is kind of cool. I'm excited to have that. Rocket Raccoon and Groot, Bite and Bark, found that really cheap, so nice to have that. And then we have Scarlet Witch, Volumes 1 through 3. Read that series, really enjoyed it. The art's great, the covers were cool. Secret Invasion, Secret War, both Bendis event books. Then we get All Secret Warriors by Jonathan Hickman. I found this at a store, so I just bought all 6 trades instead of the complete collections or the out of print omnibus. So I got those. I think I paid like $30 for all that, so that's a pretty good deal. Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars. Read that. It was alright. It was a little long for my taste. She-Hulk by Dan Slott. Great series. Highly recommend it. Just don't be like me and buy the first 3 trades and then get the second complete collection. Just buy the 2 complete collections. We have some Shield stuff here, so I read that. It's pretty cool. Just, um, Coulson teaming up with a bunch of heroes on separate missions. Then we have the main event, Siege. Um, and then we have Silk, Volume 0 through 3. Don't ask me why there's a Volume 0 and not 1 through 4. Valiant, Solar, Man of the Atom. So, read that. It's pretty crazy. Pretty good. I like the art, though. Spider-Man Maximum Carnage, because, why not? I found that for like $10 at a store, so I bought it. And then we have some more Spider-Man stuff here, and I'll get to more Ultimate stuff as I go down. But a really old trade of The Death of Jean DeWolf, which I'm looking to sell because the updated version has more stuff in it. Spider-Man Tangled Web, just a bunch of anthology stuff of Spider-Man. I wasn't really, impressed by it, so I might just sell it. Spider-Man Blue is essential reading for any Spider-Man fan out there. Really cool, really great event. Very emotional. I read that in one night, which is pretty crazy because I don't really read that fast. But yeah, a bunch of Spider-Woman stuff here. You know, just some volumes. I'm not gonna go through all of them. Spidey volumes 1 and 2. Just another story another book that came out with after Secret Wars that kind of has Spidey in high school again. Unbeatable Squirrel Girl, read that, really enjoyed it. Starbrand volumes 1 and 2, which I'm pretty sure no one out there really has, but just some new universe stuff that I'm excited to read about. Star-Lord has a lot of early Star-Lord stuff in it. You can get this online for pretty cheap, but I read that, really enjoyed it. It's in black and white too, so because it was posted in the magazine. And then we get some more modern Star-Lord stuff. So volumes 1 through 4 of Legendary Star-Lord, and then Star-Lord Grounded volume 1. Then we have Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde right next to it. And then we have Star Wars, Dark Empire and Dark Empire 2. And I found these at a store for like $8 combined, so I picked those up, and they were something that was on my list. So, some old Star Wars stuff that I'm excited to read. Storm, Bring the Thunder. So I have the second volume of that, so I gotta get the first volume eventually. Spider-Man, Superior Spider-Man, I'm sorry. The complete collection, volume 1. Volume 2 is coming out, I think, in like the summer or whatever. Superman Adventures, this was recommended to me from a friend, so I bought volumes 1 and 2. I think there's 3 or 4 volumes, so I'll have to see if I can find the other ones. Thing Classic volume 1, so I know there's 3 volumes of that, so I gotta hunt down volumes 2 and 3. Thor by Kieran Gillen, that follows up JMS's run. Thor the Mighty Avenger complete collection. That was a great series, great art. I love the art, and the story was awesome. Then we get into a bunch of Ultimate stuff here, so some of it's bad, some of it's good, so just bear with me. So we have Ultimates volumes 1 and 2, and then we have Ultimates 2 volumes 1 and 2. Then we have Ultimate Hulk versus Iron Man. I bought it because it has Iron Man in it. Then we have Ultimate Iron Man, and then Ultimate Iron Man 2. I'm pretty sure there's a complete collection that collects these two, but it was cheaper to buy them separately, so that's why I did. Then we have Ultimate Team Up volumes 1 and 2. Still gotta get volume 3. And then we have all of Ultimate Spider-Man volumes 1 through 22 of the trade paperbacks. So you can see here, they look great, except for this one, because for some reason this trade dress is off compared to the rest of these. Drives me nuts. Volume of Walking Dead, there's this local store near me that has like all the volumes for cheap, so I decided to just pick up this one and give it a shot, and we'll see if I like it. If I don't, then I'll just sell it. But I kind of want to get into it. I've heard it's really good, so I'll read it and give it a shot. Um, Warlock by Jim Starlin, read that, really enjoyed it. Warlock is a really cool character that I'm excited to see in the movies, in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. War Machine Classic, some early War Machine stuff, Volume 1 War Machine, featuring Rhodey, so that's really cool to have. Really wish they would release a second classic volume, but I guess they won't. And this is what I was talking about earlier with the War Machine stuff. This is Dark Reign. This is the second volume of War Machine. So it's in a trade paperback instead of the hardcover, so that's kind of annoying. The Unstoppable Wasp, Volume 1, I picked this up for cheap because no one wants to read it. I know Volume 2 is out now, so I'm excited to read that. X Factor Complete Collection, Volume 2, so I need to get the first Complete Collection by Peter David. So we'll see if I can find that. This is like I think that's only like 1 or 2, like X Factor Volume 1 or 2, I think, I'm not sure. And then we get Fall of the Mutants, Volumes 1 and 2 of that book. So hopefully they don't reprint the omnibus, because I'm fine with just this format. Let's see if I can move this. Yeah, light. It's a thing. Next one I have here, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to try to sell this and just get the paperbacks, but I found this at a store for like really cheap. It's like an old X-Men Inferno book, and I looked up the contents, and the contents were a lot smaller, obviously, as you can see by just the size of it, but it just collects the main event stuff. Like, it doesn't have Power Pack or X Factor. I think those are the extra books that are in there, so we'll see. It's kind of cool to have them. I mean, the trade dress is interesting, to say the least. More stuff here. X-Men Extinction Agenda, X-Men Bishop's Crossing, X-Men Fatal Attractions. All could potentially be placeholders until I find better collections or Marvel announces new ones. This one I don't know why I really have. My friend gave it to me because the cover was bent, but I don't have any intention on reading it, so I might just sell it. Astonishing X-Men, volumes 1 and 2 by Joss Whedon. Have those, really excited. Got Sin City, The Hard Goodbye. So I haven't read any Sin City stuff, but it's Frank Miller, so I'm excited to read that. Iron Man Noir, just a book that I picked up. Then we get some Panini pocket books here. Avengers West Coast, Vision Quest, and Darker Than Scarlet. So they kind of fill in gaps in my West Coast Avengers runs that I don't have. I didn't put them on the shelf with the rest of them because it would look weird. And then we have Rocket Raccoon, Guardian of the Keystone Quadrant, which is a miniseries for Rocket Raccoon. It came out in, I think, the 80s or something. So, and that's my whole collection. I know this video was very wonky, so feel free to skip the parts where I just don't know how to